our speaker tonight, Daniela. She's here to give us some assistance. She has a business in the News Bay, which includes biomolecular quantum healing, shamanic healing, and counselling. She also has a crystal shop, a wonderful shop in the lower level of her house, and it's a wonderful place to spend some time and some money. Now, her topic tonight is going to help us with all this information. We have so much information coming at us right now, it's just bombarding us. And we stop and wonder, well, how's that affecting me? Do I need to know this? Should I pay attention to this? And all these questions you're asking yourself and someone else. So she's here to help us with that tonight, because we're questioning ourselves on our health. We get unusual symptoms, and some people say, well, it's our evolution, it's our body changing. And so do we go and have it checked out, or do we just assume, oh, it's just natural, just normal? And some people are saying that, oh yeah, the Earth's changing its resonance. And some people say, no, it cannot possibly change its resonance. And so hopefully Daniela will help us with that. But I know that the Earth frequencies are changing. Anyhow, she's here to give us information, and she uses her wisdom, her intuition, and her channeling. Please, and she's going to do the presentation first, and if you'd withhold your questions until she asks for question time, if that's okay with you. Please help me welcome Daniela.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? Okay. Hi, my name is Daniela Theus, and I am a Biomolecular Quantum Energy Technician, which is a big word, but it means I do what you would do when your vehicle doesn't run properly, and you take it into a garage and you put it up on a hoist and plug it into a computer to see what's going wrong with the electrical systems. That's what I do to the human body. I evaluate the electrical systems. So I come here to assist people moving energy through their bodies, and especially removing the blockages that are keeping you stuck from going round in circles. I've been different from the time I was born, channeling and connecting to different beings, I would have to say. Thinking it was just my imagination, being a wild child living out in the woods. I was born in Germany, and I remember playing in the forest, and never ever getting lost, having this amazing ability to know how far to go and which way to find my way home by just feeling it. I thought everybody could do that. I didn't know it was any different. And so over the years, I've had different experiences that I thought, again, were part of everybody else's experience. I started to ask questions. When I would hear certain vibrations, certain sounds, after a while it would get very loud. And I would go to a doctor and I would say, I can't do this anymore. It's too loud. I can't sleep. And the doctor's like, oh, really? And what are the voices telling you? And that's when I realized, uh-oh. You mean nobody else can hear this? What I was hearing was actually the frequency of the planet. I was hearing the actual pulse of the planet. And this is the actual hertz. We're at 7.83 hertz for Earth. That is our electrical signature, or our frequency. Our bodies are attuned to that frequency. So now that the planet is actually changing in frequency, and we're rising up, we are also changing. And our bodies are basically a biological computer. We have energy that runs down and up. We have both flows, and energy affects us, just like any computer. It changes our programming. Everything about us is frequency coded, meaning our DNA. Remember learning this in school? 90% of your DNA is junk. No, it's not junk. It just hasn't been turned on yet. That's our potential that we haven't even reached yet. What turns it on? Frequency. So think of our DNA as a big long hallway, and you've got doorways on either side. And each doorway has this key lock on it. And when we reach a certain frequency, bloop, that door opens up. And what's behind that door? Well, there's experiences. There are abilities. There are information packets for our body to start changing and shifting to hold more energy. Last year, we started bringing in some really high frequencies, and it started bang at the beginning of the year. And what that occurred was we were starting to shift from carbon-based to silicone-based. It was a necessary shift. Think of us as a 10-watt light bulb, and we were switching to a 100-watt light bulb because we would have blown. Part of our shifting to a higher frequency requires us to hold more light. It requires us to hold more energy. So naturally, we would need an upgrade. So a lot of our symptoms that we're having are part of the symptoms of releasing old, dense energy. We're always full up to here. And if we don't do anything to release any energy, nothing can come in. We don't move. We sit stagnant. And this is how a lot of our disease, a lot of our illness, mental and otherwise, comes from, this inability to move, to shift. We've been taught that being depressed is bad. Oh, no, you don't want to be depressed. Here's a pill. You must be happy at all times. That's not true. That's not part of the natural cycle of Earth. We go up in frequency and we come back down. We come down for a reason. Because when we come down, we purge. We get rid of all the density. We're like a diver that's coming up from the depths. We have to decompress. So these are like embolism, these old bubbles of lower frequency that have to come out of our bodies. And the only way it can do that if we go down far enough to access them and release them. The key is not to stay there. And that's the one thing that we have never been taught, is that it's really actually better to be unhappy than it is to be happy. Why? Because at the unhappy state, we can purge lots of stuff. We can cry, we can yell, we can scream, we can have a fit, but then the next day we feel good. That's why you always feel so good after having a good cry. You feel amazing afterwards. Why? Because you just bounced back up. This is the key to us moving forward, is purging. It's that absorbing as much light as possible and then going down and purging as much as possible. Every time we give something up, we get something back of a higher frequency. And that again will activate our bodies into shifting more. As the planet has been bombarded with solar streams, we are in a part of space right now that is very active. So it's not just solar flares that are affecting us, it is actually this part of space that's affecting us. Very high gamma radiation, and of course gamma radiation creates mutations and activations. So in other words, it's waking up the DNA. We were created. Yes, I said that. We were created to advance with our bodies from one dimension to the next. In order to understand this, any being that exists within a dimensional space can only stay in a physical level at that dimensional space. Those were the rules in the past. And what was brought forth was, can a being be created that can actually advance through the dimensions? Hence humans. This is the succeeding of humanity on this planet. This planet is much, much older than most people think. I have memories that go back a very long time. Not one person in this room is human, so I just hope you guys understand that. You are also not from here. We are wearing these human bodies, but we're here for a reason. This is a school of learning. When we sign up to come into these human bodies, we are here to experience separation from source, density, black and white, good and bad. These concepts that were unheard of, that were not known to most beings of light. We are encompassing all frequency. We are a balance of all frequency. This is the soul. So to experience these things, to have soul advancement, we come into these areas like a 3D planet, and we say, hey, I want to sign up for that school. That sounds like something interesting. When you are a being of light, you're an immortal with unlimited power, unlimited lifespans. We can't be destroyed. Let that sink in. We do not die. We cannot be destroyed. The person I'm talking to, you don't die. How cool is that? We drop our bodies like a coat that gets worn out. And I've crossed over enough times in this lifetime to tell you, it doesn't hurt. It's actually a very wonderful feeling to die. It is so good to unfold out of these bodies. We are so much bigger than these bodies. We are so much more powerful and happier. And just coming out of these bodies, we literally go, oh my God, I feel so good. And when we get put back in, that's not as much fun. But you really don't feel it. You'd be talking, all of a sudden, bloop, oh. Look at that, I dropped my body. Oh, but look, there's another one. Okay. This is how easy it is to come in and out of the body. We are here to learn about what it is like to be separated from source. Source is where we come from. We are all part of light source. There are beings on this planet which come from a dark source. That is a given. Where there's one, there will always be the other side of the coin. It's all about energy. It's all about frequency. There will always be a positive and a negative in equal amounts. One cannot exist without the other. So there will be beings of darkness here. And right now, there has been an imbalance on this planet for a very long time, where there have been more dark beings that have been controlling us than light. And right now, we're experiencing that shifting back into balance, where they're being removed out of power, so giving us back that balance. So that is the fear. the density that we've been experiencing, that oppression where we've been controlled. All of our programming, everything that we've been taught has been fear-based, and this goes back thousands of years. So here we are going up in frequency, and we're stuck in fear. Every time something new happens, we go, oh my God, I feel, I think I have a cold. I have to go see my doctor. I might have a virus. I say, so? We have an immune system that fights viruses. It's okay. Give it a day. If it's still there, give it another day. The point is we tend to jump too quickly to a quick solution. If we have a pain, we go take a pill to get rid of it, instead of experiencing it and saying, what is the body trying to tell me? Because every sensation we have in our bodies is a message from our body. Our body listens to us at all times. This is the cool thing about this suit that we're wearing. It's a smart suit, and it responds to our words. So if we're saying negative things to a smart suit, it gets kind of mad like a little kid. And it starts to actually do the very thing that you're ugly and you're this and you're fat and your body goes, okay, yeah, sure. I'll give you that. I can do that. If that's what you want, okay. It listens all the time. And it tries to communicate all the time, but we're not listening. Oh gosh, it hurts over here. Why? The weather's changing. My hip hurts. My knee hurts. What your body is saying is, no, you misunderstand. I'm holding a lower frequency there. You know why? Because you have trauma. And I'm out of tune. We got a dent here. And the energy flow doesn't flow properly through that old injury anymore. So every time the barometric pressure changes, ow, we feel it. That's just the body saying, I have a little bubble there, can we get rid of it? But you just go, oh, well, I'll just take a pill. Shh, quiet, not so loud. But we can't do this anymore. When we're now heading into a higher dimension. It's called 5D. And this higher frequency is wonderful. This is our version of heaven, because in this frequency, there's no fear, there's no shame, there's no guilt. And this actually, we've been experiencing this for a little while, little burps of it, basically, because we are shifting into what's called a theta state. We went from beta, brainwave state of wakefulness, to theta, which is our lucid dream state. So if you've ever had a lucid dream where you wake up, or you're in that dream, you're going, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm in a dream, I can do anything I want. I can't die in this dream, it's so cool, I can fly. That's theta, because think about it, 5D. Take away the fear, the shame, and the guilt. We know now that we are immortals. We can't die. And give us a little bit of time, we will fly too. Why? Because we're shifting. We were able to bring more abilities online. And yes, the ability to work against gravity, or to what's called phasing, will allow you to fly. That's in our future. Not yet, but we're getting there. So right now we need a starting point. So what are all these weird symptoms that we're having? We're going through, starting last year, a lot of my clients were complaining about severe back pain, especially between the shoulder blades. Going to the chiropractors and nothing was wrong. The pain can't go away. A lot of us have been experiencing pain on the spine, either up high or right across the sciatic. Those are all symptoms of the activations that are coming in. Because believe it or not, we have had a connection last year that come in. Back of the heart chakra, and that connects to the angelic realms. This is a direct frequency. So think of our heart chakra like a radio, and these are all the channels that came in. These are instructions that came in. This is a human upgrade that came about 1,000 years earlier than it should have. And it was in response to what was happening worldwide with these dark forces that were chemtrailing us, that are poisoning us, that are doing everything possible to keep us from ascending. There's a non-interference rule within the galactic universe. So the only thing that could be done was, well, what about an upgrade that was going to happen anyways? A little bit of sneaking in the back door for us too. So we got an upgrade called, and I call it a wing system, because when you see energy, it looks like wings. And they go up to connect to the highest dimensions, and there's ones that go down that connect to the earth dimensions for your physical body. These came online. You will feel it. They're connected to the back of the throat and the back of the heart. When the back of the throat is activated, you're sweating. You're sweating a lot at night. There's a lot of heat that comes there, and it will start to creep up the back of your head. You'll feel heat, just absolute heat, like somebody's put a hand on you and you feel that heat. Yeah. This is what we're shedding. Hidden home? Yeah. Same thing with the back of the heart. When a lot of energy exchange is happening, you feel heat. It's one of the natural signs of an energy exchange is heat. However, if you ever wondered if you've ever accidentally touched a live wire, I know I have, ouch. So how come if we're bringing in all this high frequency, we're not doing that dance at night? Well, we have actually another layer around our body. It's called an electrostatic layer, which actually protects us. So it absorbs that shock, and it creates a byproduct called a positive charge. Static. Zzz, zzz. You know when your body's full. It feels like spider webs almost. Everything you touch, you zap. That's when your field is full. That's time to discharge the body. So there's ways to discharge your body using a piece of selenite to just cut off that flow, just rubbing it down your body. Saging, smudging with Palo Santo. Those are all things that release a negative ion flow. So the two meet and it creates neutrality, dissipates. That's why we feel so good when we go for a walk on the beach on a windy day. All those negative ions, they just clear that aura, feels so amazingly good. Or if you go out in a storm, ooh, but it feels so good. You sleep really good, right? After being down at the water, I know I do. I'm out for hours because we get cleansed. We quite literally not just get wind, but we get cleansed. When we have too much energy next to our body, we receive it as pain because the human nervous system cannot tell the difference between pain inside the body and pain outside the body. So it starts to register that pain in your sciatic nerve. Full, and you take painkillers and nothing's touching it. Why? Because it's not inside your body. There's a good one. So by discharging your body, you will actually find instant relief. And that's what I'm here to teach people. I teach how to do that. It's quite simple. Discharging that, meaning just to disconnect it from your body and then just saging it. Sometimes you'll need a little bit of extra, like a little bit of shungite to help transmute that extra radiation, because that runs up and down the spine too. See, energy flow will follow any energy flow that we have on the inside. It'll match it on the outside. So it follows the same pathway. Problem is, it just runs out of spine. Where energy flow on the inside knows where to go. On the outside, it goes, hey, where do I go? So it just pools until eventually it goes down the legs. That's why we feel it right across the back. That's one of the symptoms, just one of the small symptoms. The other one is the headaches at night. Feels like somebody's clubbed you in the back of the head. Again, we hold a lot of our memories. As humans, the human body has a memory of its own. So we're quite literally a combination of two different things. One is the soul and one is the human body. The human body has cellular memory. And that comes from the DNA. That's connected to all these ancestors. So we carry all that information in our DNA. That's memory. We can go back multiple hundreds of thousands of lifetimes that are connected to the beginning of when this family line was created. We've been hoarding and carrying all this information with us, within our DNA, but also back of our heads, right back here. So when we are now at this point where we're being activated into our soul mission, and yeah, we have a mission. First is to experience our density and to come out of it, to reconnect to the light. That's mission number one. And it's taken us a long time to get to this point. So think of it like going to high school. You start off first in grade school and work all your way through, all right? We're at graduation time now. The second one is to learn about our powers. We have powers. We do. Because we've been experiencing them all along. What we think as trauma, bad luck, horrible relationships, oh my God, all the stuff that we've gone through, and we think, Jesus, I know I used to think I must have been just an absolute terrible person in another lifetime because I got my share of it and then another truckload on top. But what it wasn't karma. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't punishment. Training 101. What we were learning when we come into these bodies when we were born is we are first learning all about them. They don't come with instructions. So think of the body as one big remote control with a zillion buttons and no instructions. Perfect. So the first thing we learn is, okay, energy. How the body feels in different energy fields. We learn about abandonment. We learn about disappointment. We learn about abuse, physical, emotional. We learn all these different frequencies so that we can go, ooh, I didn't like that one. Oh, that, yeah, I didn't like that either. But we learn it and we code it into our aura. So now when we run across it, we go, oh yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to hang out with you. We feel it. Who here has walked into a room before, someplace you've never been into before, and you got the heebie-jeebies? Yeah. What do you think you were reacting to? A lower frequency. Something in there made you go, yeah, no. Whenever that happens, we're encountering a lower frequency. Doesn't mean we're encountering a bad ghost or a demon or anything like that. It just means a different frequency. That same reaction, if you pay attention to it, will happen when you encounter all sorts of different energies that you've encountered before. I can walk into a room full of 1,000 people and go, emotionally abused, sexually abused, abandonment. I can feel the different energies, people, and I can connect to people. It doesn't make me special. It just makes me aware of what I have experienced. So think of it like a big filing system that we go through. We learn all these different things. Why? Good question. Glad you asked. It is because when we have done and accumulated all these different frequencies and this catalog, so to speak, within our bodies, then comes a time when we get to have some fun with it. And that's called transmutation. And we're at that part now. We have abilities, but first we have to experience all the different types of energy in order for us to be able to start affecting energy. So now that we know what the negative side feels like in all its different forms, now we're being asked to transmute energy. We're at the point now of cleaning up the planet so it can shift. So when you are experiencing and you're seeing on the news and you're hearing about this, all these negative things that are going on, these children that are being horribly abused, and I don't even want to go there, it's nasty, but we're seeing it, we're hearing it, we're getting mad. Oh my God, this has been going on this whole time, where the hell was I? We were all had our heads down. We were all being controlled. Now that we're waking up, we've all taken the right pill and we're going, whoa, what the heck is going on here? We are realizing how bad everything is. So we're being asked to transmute energy. And that's not feeding the negative wolf. Do not give these victimizers or these perpetrators any anger. You're just giving them more fuel. Don't even look at them. What we're being asked to do is the energy that they created was to go to the victims. Now imagine these children that have been horribly taken away from their families. They've been butchered, they've been abused, they've been hunted. They're watching their friends die. They're crying for their parents. That's something we can connect to. That fear, come here, sweetie, come here. You can imagine yourself being there and taking one of them, hugging them, saying, it's going to be okay. You're not forgotten. We're right here. We're with you. We love you. Go to light. Don't look. Just go into the light. We can transmute that energy. Why would we do that? I'm glad you asked. One of the reasons why these things have been happening in certain places, not at Bob's house, Larry's house, and they always go to certain places to do these things, is to accumulate energy. Like a battery. This is their power source on this planet. This is what fuels the dark side, or the dark energy beings. Just as we're of light, they're of darkness. So they need a power source, and this is what their power source is. If we can cut it off at the knees, if we can transmute it, they have no more power. This is our first bit of learning. So baby steps, we're learning how to do that. Whenever we encounter something that doesn't feel right, ask yourself, okay, what is this? What am I feeling? And the key is to ask out loud. One of the first things we learn in school is what? Don't talk to yourself, because why? That's cray-cray, right? Anybody who's talking to himself, they're usually like, we don't talk to those people. The funny thing is, by talking out loud, we access our power. By talking out loud, we direct energy. By talking out loud, that's why they call it spells. We create, we manifest with our words. Energy sits there like a lump, does nothing until we give it instruction. And it can move in two different ways, a light wave and a sound wave. Now, I'm not so good at floating light out yet, but sound I can do. And we can all do that. So if we want something to happen, we have to say it out loud. We tend to think that, oh, well, you know, we've all learned about angels and guides, and we have these totem animals and anybody that can be here for us. But where are they? How do we connect to them? Lots of times we're sitting there, we're doing our thing, and they're not around. Why? Nobody's allowed in your head. That is a rule within the galactic world that we're in. Nobody is allowed inside your body. And that's a firm rule. So the only person that can hear you is your higher self, meaning the other part of you that didn't fit into the body. Not even God can go in there. Otherwise, every being that doesn't have a body could jump into your body. You'd never know who the heck we're talking to, right, Sybil? So this is why. So we have to say something out loud. When we need help, we just have to say the words, I need some help, somebody. And say the words, I give you permission to assist me. And you're going to feel immediately this warmth come over you. And you're going to feel immediately that you're not alone in the room. Because they've been standing there going, oh, it's about time. Because they've been looking at you sideways the whole time going, has she said anything to you? She looks a little off. We have to say it out loud. We have to say when the energy is getting to be too much and we're hurting. Can you turn down the volume, please? Thank you. That's all it takes. We are just getting directed energy and we're being treated all the same. And not everybody's the same. So energy will just flow until somebody says something. That's all it is. So we're not being punished. We're not being, getting it worse than somebody else. It's just because our bodies are unique, each and every one of us. We've all had unique experiences. We've had trauma. We've had illnesses. And so our bodies are not the same. I know my spine can't handle what it could, 30 years ago. So all I have to say is slow down, stop, turn down the volume, all these different words that we can use to change things, to redo the settings on our bodies. Right now, everything that comes in is set on maximum warp, full volume, full speed, so we can say slow down, turn this up. If you can't feel something, say, okay, turn up the volume. I want to be more sensitive. Let me feel some more. If you're feeling too much energy, too many people, I can't even be around people, okay, well, turn that down. That's just a sensitivity. In other words, start putting out shields. Give yourself some cushioning. Yeah, there we go. We're just turning down that sensitivity. We have control over this stuff, and it's as easy as saying, do this, and it's done. Not, I want to do this, because you'll always be wanting to do that, but it is done, already done. That's how simple it is to control most of the things that are going on with our bodies. In the past 7 years, since 2012, 90% of what's been happening to us has not even been disease or illness. Has not been a cold, has not been a flu. It has all been ascension symptoms that are presenting themselves like the illnesses that the body has already experienced. It's trying to get through to you. It's trying to tell you something. So when we're having a chest cold and we're coughing up junk and we're bringing out stuff, and you were fine the day before and you woke up this morning just like death's door, that's an ascension symptom. Do you know how I know? Do you remember when you were a kid and you would get sick and you'd be feeling off for a few days and then be able to go a week of chills and hot and cold and then you need the blankie and you're on the couch? Yeah, that's why. Ascension symptoms come on overnight. Hit you like a ton of bricks. And they're usually gone within 24 hours. Unless you go into fear and you invite it in and you let it stay. Because you're going, I don't know what this is. I think it's a cold. So then the body goes, oh, okay, well, I can make it last like a cold if you want. And it does. But if you were fine the night before and you wake up with strep throat and you can't talk, guess what? Your throat's recoding. Your vocal cords are being stretched. They're being recoded to be able to talk in a higher frequency, to be able to communicate with more beings of light. You're being expanded. If you're coughing up crap, your heart is expanding. It is releasing trauma. The physical body has to use the mucus. Oh yeah, that's fun stuff, but it has to move things out of the body. And the easiest way is through the mucus. So if we find ourselves crying a lot, awesome! Why? Because we hold our programs in here. Our reality that we shift and we see through our eyes, we hold here. Our programs sit in our consciousness right here. So when all that stuffiness is happening and we're crying, we're leaking, we are clearing. We are in that windshield. We're clearing those sensors and we are shifting. It's a good thing. Just don't stay there. Don't stay there for more than a day. You don't need to. We can do it in small dosages. We don't have to do it all at once. It's much easier on the body. And that's one of the things where we go into fear and we start feeling, oh, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. We stay there. And we have all these tests done. And then to our dismay, the doctor comes back and goes, there's nothing wrong with you. And you're going, oh, great, he thinks I'm a hypochondriac. I know I feel yucky. Well, then why am I feeling like this? It's because it's an ascension symptom. Your body's trying to tell you something. Each of those symptoms, whenever you've gotten those negative results and they're saying that you're fine and you're at death's door going, no, I'm not. It is because your body's just trying to tell you something. We're releasing some stuff. It's okay. Be happy. Go, yay! I'm releasing stuff. And you're going to find that you're going to move up a lot faster in frequency. And as this occurs, there's also going to be shifts in your perception. And suddenly things are going to get a little bit loopy at times. And you're going to notice now, as we're shifting higher in frequency, the difference between a high frequency and a negative energy is getting to be really distinct. We didn't notice it before, but now we do. And this is why you're going to probably be finding a lot of people in your lives have been moving away from you. And others have been coming in. People that you've known forever are suddenly just, it's because of frequency. We tend to keep to our own frequency as we're going through the shift. It's much healthier for us and allows a much easier transition. And also because we can't do the work for other people. So I always say, love the person, hate the behavior, and allow them to move forward on their own speed, out of respect and love. Not because you want to be mean to somebody, say, I'm better than you. There's nobody better. See, the neat thing about ascension and being in the higher dimensions is there's no levels of up and down. We're just different this way. We're at different frequencies. That's all it is. We all get there at the same time, right at the end. But while we're going through this shift, there's going to be times when you need to be away from people so you can bring up your maximum frequency. Why? If it's in your heart to help, and most of us have been coded for that, for this shift, to help the planet, we must be at full power. So instead of helping one person at their level, we raise up in vibration. We are now like a lighthouse, shining, sending love and light to everybody. Much more efficient up there. So raise yourself above the clouds, above the storm, and navigate from there. Much easier. Instead of being down in the storm trying to dodge the bullets. So a lot of the frequencies that have been coming in as of late have been to get us used to 5D and how to navigate in 5D. The physical symptoms, again, have been new connections, and one of the last ones that have come online, literally it's been about 8 weeks now, and I notice as a watcher and being here to assist people physically on this level, I work with Arcturian energies. I speak an Arcturian light language, and that's required for me to reprogram physical bodies in this dimensional realm. So there are people who do stuff up here. I do the stuff down here. Quite easy. So in this realm, the physical realm, there's major change happening to us. And we're all running around going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But it gets really easy to navigate. Just take the fear out of the equation. That's most of what's been happening to us. We've been programmed by Hollywood. All these scary things that could go wrong. Oh, we're going to turn into these aliens. You hear the word crystal body. Your crystalline body's coming online. We're having these things, oh my God, am I going to grow like stones out of me or something? People think that. No, it's a type of vibration. It just means you're going to be clear, a lot clearer than what we were. We were a carbon base. We switched last summer. It took about 8 months, 8 weeks, approximately 8 to 10 weeks to go through this phase, to switch from carbon base to silicone base. And what that was the frequency increase we felt in the heart. I don't know how many people. And we had it happen about the same time in June this year, heart palpitations. We feel this a lot when we have energy increases going on. And that's a signal going to your physical heart to prime your blood, to give a message to each and every cell. That's all it is. We get these hot flashes coming through, and it starts beating in a weird rhythm. But then it doesn't go any further than that, just some weird palpitations. And that's what happened last year. And it started off with releasing these new codes. And that was to release 1 proton to every nucleus of every cell, an extra one. So we went from carbon base 666 to 667, which is silicone base, the building blocks of where we're heading next. And this year we started to work on top of that. So this year we brought our crystalline body online, which was all these star particles that we've been bringing in. The solar plexus has been bringing in a lot of stuff from our sun. Our sun is part of a binary system. It's actually part of a relay system. And it comes from the galactic center. Remember how I said energy can move in 2 different ways, sound wave and light wave? Well, there's the light wave, the sun. This is what connects to our soul. So it comes into the top of the head. That's where the soul's sitting, right up in here. And that's why you might feel some ticklies every so often on top of your head, those tinglies. That information coming into the soul is saying, okay, okay, time to get up, wake up. Mission time, let's go. Graduation, let's get going. Releasing certain signals to the rest of the body, saying it's time to shift, time to move into our mission, time to get our powers, time to shift into a higher vibration. You've done a good job, let's go. There's no summer vacation. We kind of keep going. So as these frequencies are coming in and they're telling us what to do, that's when the government started doing the chemtrailing. They were like, yeah, no, we don't want anybody to ascend. We want to keep things the way they are. We want a one world government. So they've been trying their darndest to stop us, and that's why the wing system, that I call wing system, or the connections, have come online, so that that information would still come straight into our bodies. Nature always has a way of circumventing a problem. It has a way of correcting itself. And in the last 2 months, finally, our divine blueprint has come online. And that is, from the back of the shoulder blades coming around, this is like a third set of wings that's come through. We've always known that we replace our cells constantly. And every 8 years, we're fully replaced. Brand new human being. But why do we keep replacing with aged cells, diseased cells? Why? If we're replacing them, why not something good? Because of frequency. We're held again back in frequency lock. Everything is frequency, right? So the frequency was too low to bring us online. Well, guess what? It's high enough now. If we maintain our frequency at a high enough point, meaning in 5D, in that high blissful state of theta, then we bring this blueprint online. It means it's been hooked up, it's ready to go. It's just as soon as you hit that frequency, it starts working. When we go below it, it stops. When we go back up to it, it starts again. And when the first thing it's going to start doing is going to start healing you, removing all that disease. It's going to start bringing in healthier cells. It's going to start doing that reverse aging thing. It's going to give us back our long lifespans. These human bodies can last literally over 1,000 years. Yeah, it's in our history. It's well hidden, but it's still in our history from this seeding. There is a king's list that goes back when they talk about these ancient people in the Bible that lived 800 and 1,000 years. Yeah, we could. We were at that frequency at one point, but it was shut down. A lot of the information is not that far away from us. It's not that it happened tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years ago. It happened within the last 5,000 years. And yet it's been kept from us. It's been hidden. So if that's been hidden just from the last 5,000 years, can you imagine what's been hidden from the history of the planet? Do you realize how many civilizations have been on this planet that have bypassed us even, that have ascended and have left, that have destroyed each other? There's so many ruins, so much history here that's always, always hidden. Why? Power and control. Apparently most of the information was held in the Library of Alexandria, which was burned. Emperor of Rome burnt it down to the ground. It's always about seeking power. Now, all information does have a backup, of course. And you will be able to connect to that. And this is one of the things that I do is I channel. And I don't just channel whatever. I first started connecting to the Akashic records. And if anybody here doesn't quite understand what the Akashic records are, this is like a library for each. Every planet has an Akashic records for any living thing that's ever existed there. So it contains within it the information about everything you've ever done or going to do on this planet. Anything that's alive in the Akashic records. From the Akashic records, we go into the halls of Amenti, or what I like to call the galactic records. So think of it as a hub that connects to the next level. So the galactic records now collect all the records from one galaxy, not just one solar system, but one galaxy. And it brings in all the information from all the Akashic records. From there, we go to a universal library, the next hub, which collects, you see where I'm going with this? And the universes are stacked. Mind blown. Do you know how much information that is? Yeah. We can access that. But there's one little thing standing in the way. And this is one of the reasons why you've been taught so much useless junk in school. To keep you on the track of continuously memorizing useless junk. We have to empty our minds. See, information comes through you. It's not meant to be stored here. But of course, they teach you all this useless stuff that you never ever use. I don't know about the War of 1812. I'm still not using that. And plus, I failed history on that too. But this is what I mean. It's blocked up the access. So if channeling comes through, you think of it as a big warehouse, and right now it's so full of boxes you can't even see the next door. You can't see the windows. There's no room. There's nothing. You can't even walk into it. Too much information. Too much stuff is in here. We literally need to start dumping this stuff by coming into the moment, by breathing. We literally breathe in light and we exhale the density. That's what is meant by when you hear the term releasing your density, releasing your physical self, all this lower frequency. That is part of it. The useless information that we're holding within our bodies. It's right up there with all the false illnesses and fear. So by breathing in light and exhaling the density, we are quite literally shoving that box out of the room. And, oh, look at that, there's a window. Because that's what we need to do. The body's energy flow naturally comes in through the crown and it flows down on one side and it goes down to the ground, grounding energy. And then there's a secondary flow which comes in on the left side. And this is to help heal the physical body, because the physical body was born on this planet, is attuned to this planet, so it needs healing energy from this planet. Kind of makes sense to me. And it comes up in a clockwise, and it flows up through the body and out. We have a two-way flow. But there's one part that needs to flow differently. And this is what we're feeling now. This is where all this pressure, this density, it's hard to breathe. Oh my God, at times the pressure is crazy. And heartburn, we're feeling heartburn lately. What that is emotional energy that we've swallowed down, that we push down through a conditioned heart. From an early age, we get conditioned. We are first born wide open, connected to all of our guides, to all the information flow, because minds are clear. So we're channeling, we're connected. Those imaginary friends, those are guides. They are there on another level. Kids see them. Until they get shut down, until the conditioning comes in. Say, stop that. Leave that alone. I know this is what happened with me. Don't talk like that. That's nonsense. That's not English. Stop it. I was speaking in light language when I was very, very small. I used to sing it. That part hit me about 3 years ago when I just sort of started in the shower and I'm like, oh, I know this. Where did I know this from? I'm like, oh my God, I used to sing this as a child. And it was just like, oh, it came back. That's where that comes from. We have these wide open connection when we first come in. We get that back if we let go of a whole bunch of density. Conditioning is the fear, the shame, the guilt. That says, if you do this and you do that, and that person isn't happy, then you get to be happy. Okay. So then we spend the rest of our lives trying to make other people happy so we can feel good. And that's why we blame other people when we're not feeling good, right? There's no accountability. So now we have to release that emotional energy that's trapped. And that is blocking our sacral chakra. This is where our magic comes from, our creativity, our imagination. That's where our power is connected to. We're bringing in power, but we can't connect to the magic because there's too much stuff in there. It's too thick, too many boxes. That has to come up and out. So when you're feeling that pressure up, pushing up against the base of your heart, up in your diaphragm, you feel like you're about this big, like you've just been blowed up. Heartburn's happening, you're having trouble swallowing, burping a lot. This is emotional energy trying to come out right now. It's been hitting really hard the last few months. And you have to literally teach your body how to release it, because your body naturally wants to just ground it down, and it wants to come up. So there's a bit of a war happening in your body. You have to literally put your hands on your belly and say, I release all emotional density up and out. Because it has to come back through an unconditional love heart to be cleansed. That's why it has to come out. Otherwise, we would just be releasing more yucky energy, wouldn't we? So it's defeating the purpose. So by doing this, every time that you're feeling that, take a nice deep breath in of light, and I release all emotional density out. I release all this old trauma that's trapped in my body up and out, and I make room for light. Then you breathe in the light, and you're going to find all of a sudden this, ooh, I feel so much better. You feel lighter, tingly, happy, because suddenly the stuff is gone, and suddenly the power that's coming into your root chakra is hitting your creative parts, and you're going, hey, you know what I'd like to do tomorrow? want to do some crafting. I want to do this. I want to get out in the garden. I'm going to create this. That's what happens. All of a sudden, your creativity just skyrockets, because it's an outward expression of unconditional love. It's an outward expression of your power. Your body's going, yeah, let's do this, because when we do this, we start accessing the power. That's why we're trying to connect back to our magic, our ability to create. Our imagination is the one thing that gives us the power, and our words are what makes it happen. If you can think it, if it makes sense to you, it's done. There is no special rules. There is nothing that you need to take as a course. Take it to remind yourself. You've already done all this work. Thing is, just like when we've forgotten everything of who we were when we came into this world, we've also been disconnected from those memories. So all you have to do is jar your memories. Remember who you are. Remember the powers that you've had. So I encourage you, try out different things. Whatever feels good, whatever feels right, try it out. But don't stay there. Think of it as a puzzle piece. You're going to create your own picture. That's what's going to make you more powerful than anything on this planet, is by creating all these puzzle pieces. So by all means, if you want to take all these different courses all the way through the end, and if you want to call yourself a master of something, awesome, but you're going to find after a while that you're not quite happy anymore. Why? Because you're supposed to carry on, learning different things. It's not about copying other people in the way they've done it. It's about acquiring the information, reminding yourself again of who you are and what you've done before in other lifetimes, and then going, now how do I want to do it? What feels right to me? Well, if I do it like this, it's about understanding a concept and going, yeah, I remember. But I think for me, it should flow like this. With this, maybe I'll use some stones. Maybe I'll add some instruments. Maybe this feels better for me, like this. And I got to do it outside. I can't do it in the house. It's got to be outside in the garden. And I think I'm going to build a yurt here or something. But you'll feel it. You'll know it. It feels right to you. And you'll get this pull towards it. That's your path. Your path is a baby step. Each and every time that you do something that feels right, something that feels good, you don't have to know what it is. You just have to take a step towards, well, that felt good. And say, show me some more. And you know what? Bloop, door opens up and you go, oh, yeah, that felt good too. Show me some more. I say that every day, show me some more. Because I get excited. I'm so grateful for what I get to do and for what I get to share with people. I'm just like, yeah, awesome, show me some more. And it's what happens. I get more revealed to me. If you need help, say so. If you want to see your path, say so. If you want to be done with the lessons, just say so. Say, look, I think I got it now. Thank you. Can we move forward? We tend to go back into the classrooms where it's most comfortable. And that's one of our biggest downfalls. We're a bunch of scaredy cats. We really are. We like to go back to where we know what's been happening. So we go back to the job, which we absolutely hate. We go, oh, it's not, we try to convince ourselves it's not that bad. Yeah, it is. If you're waking up in stress every single day and you're crying on the way to work, and you're stressed on the way home, it's time to go. It's time to move forward. Working harder is not going to get you better pay. It's not going to make the job better. It's just going to make it worse. You're going to run yourself to the ground even more. We don't know when to let go because we've had to struggle so hard to get stuff. Totally understandable. But it's not like that anymore. Now you can create stuff. You don't have to wait for it to be handed to you. You don't have to wait to earn it. You don't have to scrape and beg for it. You have the power to say, it's done. Now, I have the perfect job for me. I love what I do. All you have to do is say those things as if you're already doing them, and the universe goes, hey, we're just going to move you into the right timeline. Because how we navigate from here on forward is not this way. We don't have to figure out how to get there. We just have to say, where do we want to go? Give me an end destination. Where do you want to go? Well, I want to be happy. I want to do whatever it is I want to do and make enough abundance to not have to worry about any bills. Awesome plan. I like it. It is done. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to say. You don't have to figure out how you're going to get the money, how you're going to get that. Let the universe take care of that. It's the end destination. That's how we create it. We move ourselves into the dimension or the timeline where it's already occurred. One of the first things I teach my clients is how to move outside of time. Time is a construct that only occurs in 3D. So we needed that to navigate because it was such a low vibration that we needed a way to figure out how to go from A to B. Because we didn't have the expanded mind to understand, what we're doing now, which is moving outside of time. Time exists in 3D in a linear form. There's a past, present, future. Now, when we move into 5D, it is actually a spiral. And what happens is we're in the now, and that now line connects to all these different parts of the spiral. So when you're in the now, everything's happening at the same time, in the past, present, and future. So if there's something in the past that you wish you'd changed, all you have to do is connect to the energy of that. We know we can't go back to that point in time because so many variables have happened since then, it's impossible to find that timeline again. However, we always carry the emotional energy of it with us, the resonance of it with us. We can go back and we can change how we feel about that. By releasing trauma. When we have had trauma, and this is the one thing that's holding us back at all times, is trauma that we've experienced at whatever age. And most of us, the worst of it happens as childhood. And that's why we remember bad things more so than good, if any of the good, right? It's, oh my God, that 5th birthday was awful. Well, that's just a marker. And the reason that we remember the bad things is because at some point the body knows, okay, we have to go back and we have to look at that again. We have to change the energy signature of that so that we can move forward, because it's an anchor. It holds us down. It's just like not letting go of something that happened in a relationship where that son of a bitch, he did all this stuff, and there's another anchor. And we're going to keep repeating that, more anchors of the same thing, until we look at that and go, what did that teach me? How was I empowered from that? Well, I'm sure as I ain't doing that again. Good. Awesome. Well, that's a pretty big thing, isn't it? What it is it allows us to go back in time now with the mind that we have now, with the experience we have now, with what we know now. And literally look at it like you were sitting in a theater and it's on the big screen. And you're going, okay, let's have a look at that trauma. Oh dear, mom and dad are fighting. Oh, dad left. Oh. And I'm holding all that. It's my fault. Maybe I should have been a better girl. I was a bad girl. It was all my fault. It's all my fault. A child will think that. Absolutely. Children, their world is very small, and their emotional experience is very small. So yes, if something goes wrong in a child's world, it is big. And they always blame themselves. That's just how children are. So when we have trauma and we have to look at that and we think, oh my God, that was such a big deal, and we're holding that shame, that guilt, our whole lives, and that's shaped our whole lives on how we react to things. When we go back and you look at it and you kind of expand that picture a little bit now, because we're adults, we can look at it and go, well, knowing now what we know now about relationships, what we didn't know then, is that, yeah, it wasn't my fault. Mom and dad were always fighting. As a matter of fact, I don't ever remember anything happy. I just remember lots of yelling and drinking going on and fighting going on. And dad left. Actually, that was a good thing then, wasn't it? Yeah, because then the fighting, all that stopped. So you shift how you feel about that situation by looking at it again. You don't have to feel it. The reason we feel it is because we don't know we can cut that off. You don't have to feel any of your trauma when you visit it. And this is part of what the modern psychiatry was always good at, picking at this. Or I can remember I went through 7 years training. And it started off with me being a patient, and then me learning what I had to learn. And there was a reason for all that. And I remember getting sick before going to the appointment every single time. And I'd be sick a day before, sick a day afterwards, because I knew they were going to pick open the wound, and they were going to dig right in there, and they were going to make me bleed. Because they didn't tell me that I could just disconnect the emotions from that. We could just look at it. I just fully connected to it and felt it every single time. We don't have to feel it. We can just look at it like a movie. We don't have to be part of the script. We don't have to be part of the action series itself. We're just looking at the movie, observing. Once we shift our perception of a trauma, it changes us. That timeline shifts. Suddenly, you're going to start realizing the more trauma you look at, somebody's going to say, so what was your childhood like? And you're going to go, I don't know, I guess it was good. I don't remember anything bad. That's the key. That's when you know, okay, you've let go of all your anchors. You can move forward. Because you no longer have bad experiences that are making you judge what's happening right now. Because we project that. All of our trauma from the past, we keep projecting it forward. Well, that happened, so it's going to happen again. Because I know that hurt, and I'm on high alert. Because we're trying to protect ourselves, right? So we project it forward. onto the next person. Whenever we see just a little inkling of that trauma kind of come through again, oh yeah, no, I'm not going there because that's going to happen. We make it happen. We make it happen. We are so powerful. People don't realize how much power we actually have. We've been actually creating living things. Did you know that? I'm not kidding you. Where do you think demons come from? They don't come from light. They don't come from darkness. They come from emotional energy. That's how they're created. These beings that are here, that are not supposed to be here, we've been creating them from our emotional energy. When we go blah, blah, blah at somebody, we bark out that rage, that anger, that sorrow, that grief, all those negative energies, they go and they collect more of their same. They quite literally, think of them as like spores or eggs that you put out there. And what happens is that energy, being part of the quantum universe, will attract more of the same. So the more fighting you do, and the more anger you shove at each other, the more anger is going to accumulate in your house. And eventually what happens is, as it goes into the walls and is absorbed, and people move in and out of that house, well, it has a resonant frequency in that house. And whoever moves into there is going to start fighting. Because they're just picking up on the frequencies that have been recorded into the walls. And they're going to be adding to that anger. And you know what happens? Eventually it gains sentience. It's no different than an egg dividing its cells. It does the same thing. It accumulates more of the same until eventually it becomes alive. And it has the same rules as we do. It has the same right to live as we do. And we've been doing them wrong. I know, because I go into houses and I remove these things, and I feel sorry for them. We've created them. We've thrown them into a world that it cannot be supported in. It is fighting to stay alive, nonstop. That's why they're so grumpy. You would be too if you were constantly starving. Having to generate anger out of somebody just to live another day. Having to generate hatred or sorrow. Jealousy. Whatever they exist on, they have to create more of it. They need to get more of it. They can't move around very much. If you're living out in the middle of nowhere, chances are, yeah, it's going to be creating something nasty out there because it can't move along anywhere. It needs emotional energy fed to it constantly so it can move with people, with families, to another location until it gains sentience. Then it has a right and it has a mind to get smart enough to move and how to create this type of energy. And that's when it starts to affect people. And I've removed them out of houses. And some of them get quite powerful, but they don't have a physical body. That's one thing that Hollywood has done a good number on us, hasn't it? These things don't have a physical body. It's an energy form. It's an energy thought form that has gained sentience. It can affect our brainwaves. It can affect how we view the reality. So if it's trying to say to you, I'm so big and I'm so scary and I'm going to do all these things, and you believe it, then yes, we're going to have a reaction as if it is real. And we're going to react like as if it is ripping us apart or it's throwing us across the room, because we have that power to do that. Telekinetic energy comes from us. So when they talk about poltergeists, it comes from a person. A person is generating that power without realizing it. There's so much about us that we're just starting to know that we have the ability. So if we're doing all this stuff without realizing what we're doing, imagine what we could do if we did, if we set intent. Wow, that's big. If we can create negative energy beings, well, we can definitely fix this planet then, can't we? Because on this planet, there's something else, a record. It's called the morphogenetic field. And think of it as having all the barcodes for everything that's ever been created for this planet in its perfect form. Remember what I said, everything's energy? Well, how do you think we're going to fix that ocean that's full of radiation and pollution and plastic bags and all that crap? Now we can build special ships that are dragging special stuff and that are, that's wonderful, but it would take forever. Or we can think energy and shift it back to its original frequency, rendering all particles within that water inert. Goes down to the bottom. The water's pure. Can be done in an instant. We reach a high enough frequency. Healing ecosystems, same thing. Can be done in an instant. Experiments have been done, and I love the Russians for this because they don't have the same kind of rules that we do. There's a type of pyramid, and it's not like the pyramids that you see in Giza, but there's a taller pyramid that's shaped more like this. And they have realized by the, and I'm not a mathematical engineer, I know by the angles, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. It works almost like an acupuncture needle. So down on certain parts of the planet, it's very, very powerful. But just done on the regular part of the planet, so out in the field somewhere, it will access the actual energy body like an acupuncture needle does to the human body. Remember what I said? If you can imagine it on a micro scale, you can imagine it on a big scale. So this is it. It's like using an acupuncture needle out in the middle of the field, accessing the energy called the morphogenetic field. So they thought, well, this is the theory we have, that we can access this and we can affect something here in the real world. They had some wells that contained water, which was so hard and so yucky, and you can Google this and find this, that you couldn't even wash clothes or anything in it. It was totally useless. So they thought, well, we got nothing to lose here. They built these pyramids. They did it on 3 different locations. They just built small ones so that the small room inside was enough for a bench and, of course, the hole for the water, for the well. And something very unique happened. First off, they had to build it out of non-metallic metals. In the 70s, I know the whole pyramid power came in with the copper pyramids and all that. That creates a certain type of energy, but in this case, it had to be non-metallic. So PVC pipe and plastic and cloth, the cheap stuff, worked just fine because metal would interfere with the frequency of the morphogenetic field, so that's why. They built this pyramid over top of these wells that were yuck. And within 3 months, what do you think happened? Pure. And something else happened that they weren't quite expecting. An area around this pyramid, about 500 meters or more, plants were starting to grow in that area that hadn't been there for hundreds of years. Some of them have been extinct for a long time. Then they did a flyby. They did some testing of the air, and you know what they found? Clean air. It not only worked in that diamond pattern connecting to the morphogenetic field, but it also did the crossover. So imagine, you know how the sides of the pyramid go up? Well, in that whole swath connecting to the outer atmosphere was shifted. Any rips and tears that were in any of the shielding, repaired. That's pretty scary. Knowing that, wow, something so simple can affect such a big thing. That also gives us an idea that, hey, we've been going about things the wrong way. We've been thinking that, oh, well, we couldn't possibly have an effect on what we've done out here. It's taken, how long for us to mess up the world? Well, we can actually do it in a day if we all put our minds to it. All we need is the frequency. All you need is the ability within you to say, I can do that. Because you can. All of us can. We have that ability. Nobody is exempt from this. We just have to connect to our power. We just have to connect to our ability to believe in ourselves. And that's what's been stripped from us. And this is why we've been controlled for so long. They took away our power. They made us not believe in ourselves anymore. So now we're really learning how to do that. We're connecting to things. Realizing that one by one, as we're shifting through these things, that these are not bad things. We're feeling symptoms. It's like, it's not bad. It's actually good. Yay. Okay, well, in that case, I can go on. I can keep going. The universe will not take you this far and pull the rug out from under your feet. Remember that. Whenever you go into fear, how many times at the last second have you been saved? Right? You're wondering, oh my God, rent's due tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then something will come through and save your bacon at the last minute. Somebody will call you up, hey, you still want to sell that thing with it? And you're like, yeah! Saved. Because there's a plan. You're just being tested in your faith. And your faith is your most powerful thing. If you have faith that, yep, you can't touch this. I'm immortal. Then quite literally nothing can touch you. You just have to connect to that again. You have to realize how powerful you are. We have examples everywhere all around us. We can shift all of this stuff that we're seeing. Just don't feed the wrong wolf. Only feed the positive. Ignore the rest. This is where we're restoring the balance. Right now, it's out of balance. The darkness has got a little bit too much power, and all we're doing is restoring that balance. We're not here to destroy. We're not here to take away. We're just here to balance. We're all light workers. And you know where light workers work? In the dark. They actually work in the dark. They work right down the middle. Because it's in the darkness, that's where you see the light. If you're ever lost, that's a good thing. That means just say, where's my path? And it'll be shown to you. Being lost is exactly where you need to be. If you knew where you were going, that means you've taken control, and then you are truly lost. So you don't want to know where you're going. You want to know where you're lost. That means you're open for a new path. Everything we've been taught, do the opposite of. Basically, that's what it comes down to. We've been taught everything to keep us from moving forward. We've been taught all about the fear. We've been taught, stay away from the darkness. In the beginning, I used to hear a lot of light words say, I play in the light, and I'm all unicorns and butterflies, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm just going to stand over here, because you're going to explode. There's not a balance. We walk in the middle. We know what to add in order to bring balance. That's the key to any power, to bring balance, bring it into balance. We're not here to create one thing or the other. We're here to bring the balance back. That's where our abilities lie. So if something's out of balance, like our environment, like our world, like our school system, our working hours, that's ridiculous, we have to bring light to that. That's in the darkness, and it needs to be illuminated, as in, look at this. This is a mess. This has not changed in hundreds of years. We have. ADHD is something that was developed by the drug companies. Nobody bothered to say, hey, isn't it funny how all the kids have ADHD now? All these indigos and these crystalline children and these Blu-rays and... Well, they're connected differently. They're already farther ahead of us in their physical bodies that they've come in with. They've come in with connections that we're just still trying to connect to. So, of course, they're going to respond differently to stimuli. They need more running around time because they get overloaded immediately. Right now, there's so much static and so much storm energy on this planet that they kind of literally go out of their minds. They don't know what to do with that. And their parents, as parents, we're kind of going, here, go sit in the corner. We'll watch TV. Well, that's even worse. So they need to run and be outside and doing stuff. And the school system says, well, no, you're only allowed 15 minutes here and 20 minutes there. And then you have to go through these checkpoints. And then, you can't go to the bathroom. You have to sit still. And they're fidgeting because they're trying to discharge their bodies. They're highly connected. No different than us when we're starting to get a little bit weird. Yeah, well, when we're fidgeting, that means we need to discharge our bodies. We're full of static energy. So yeah, there's changes that are required. Listen to the children. I mean, they're the ones who are literally, they're stuck in these little bodies, but what's coming through right now are ascended masters. A lot of the beings that are coming to this planet have been in human form before, and they're here to help set up the new systems. There are going to be light workers that are waking up and that are going to be hitting the ground running. They're here for the new build. Right now, we're still in deconstruction. So we got wrecking balls, we got dozers, we got shice everywhere. It's flying around us. We're ducking for cover. And yes, withdraw. If it gets to be too crazy, withdraw. Put up your shields. Breathe in light. Deep breath of light and bring that into your aura. Push that out. Keep doing that until you feel your hair standing up. Just deep breath in and then push that into your aura. Because that's your protection. When you raise the frequency of the light inside your aura, boom, 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 you are impenetrable. And you're also resonating that light. So in order to do that, you have to be saying, okay, stop, time out, and do that. Breathe. I encourage everybody to breathe. 7 deep breaths. Nice. You'll find yourself coming right back into balance, calm, and rational. From there on, you can go, you know what? Not my circus, not my monkeys. I'll see you later. You're not getting engaging in any of those yucky energies. You're just saying, nope. Talk to me later when you're calmer. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. You'll find that your world will be small, but it'll be very comfortable. And it's up to you then to expand it to the way you want it. Because we can push that light forward. We can help shift other people with love and light. But we can't do it at their level. And this is what the important thing is. So if there are people in your lives that are causing you grief, that are making you feel awful, like where you're trying to recover for a couple days after visiting them, let them go with love. Just for now. Everything in this universe is always in motion. It's not permanent. It's just for now. Because you are needed at your highest frequency. Let these anchors go. Love the person. Hate the behavior. Let them go at their own speed. Out of respect, we let them come up at their own time. So they don't feel like they're being dragged along for a ride that they're not ready for. Because at times we're going to have different opinions about things. And that's okay. It's okay to respectfully disagree. It doesn't have to be your way or my way. Stay in the middle. Again, keep the balance. Say, okay, I respectfully disagree. Nothing wrong with that. It's those that are constantly trying to, my way, my way, my way. That's when you have to kind of take a step back and go, okay, there's something maybe you haven't learned yet, and that's okay. But you have to do it out here, because it's affecting me. And I want to help lots of people. So you got to be in your highest vibration. I want to help shift my family. I want to protect my family. I want to raise my vibration to a point where I can just beam it out around the house, around the yard, around the block, around the city. You can expand it as much as you want. All it takes is your imagination. If you can see it, if you can imagine it working on a small scale, it'll work on a large scale. That is the quantum field. Because if a particle resonates at a certain frequency of success, all particles that are the same will do the same thing. So all we have to do is whatever we take at a small level, even working one-on-one with somebody, where you're talking about some stuff and they release some energy and you go, wow, I didn't know I had that in me. That's pretty cool. Okay, now apply that at a global level. You might find by sending that same feeling or that process that you just gone through and you send it outward, that it actually works. Why? Because you've just experienced it at a small scale. That's the micro and macrocosm. We are learning to connect that they are both the same thing. Size doesn't matter. What matters is, can your imagination allow it to happen? Can you will yourself to be perfect health? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. By raising your vibration. And by saying, I am in perfect health.
I do say that. People think I'm nuts.
And you're going to find you don't get sick.
That's right.
I have not been sick in more than 25 years. I will get sick every once in a while because I ask it. Because there's something going on. And I can always feel there's something hinky with this illness. I don't know what it was. Last year, beginning of the year, there's a lot of flus that were going around. People were getting sick, and then they would get sick again. And it was like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. There were people that were dying. In the States, it was getting really bad. And I knew this was not ascension symptoms. Now I have a rule, 3 days, and then we're done. So I'm like, okay, show me. You got 3 days. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, whoa. And like instantly I couldn't breathe, and my lungs were just coated in this junk. And as I'm experiencing this, I'm getting a really strange energetic reading from this. And it's as if there's a being in my room, a negative energy being. And I know I've encountered these before, so I'm like, okay, something get in my house past my warding? That's kind of strange. So I did a smudge, and I'm trying to clear it, and it's like, dang, it's still here. After a while I realized, it's not out there, it's in here. I'm like, what the hell is in me? This is the stuff that was being chemtrailed on us. This is the stuff that's in those inoculations. There's more than just some toxic bits and pieces. There's nanotechnology in there. And all nanotechnology runs on an ultra low frequency, which is very similar to these negative energy beings that we've been creating. Very similar. And when we take that in, and when we think negative thoughts, guess what? It multiplies. It gets more powerful. So when you're sick and you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to get any better, boom, it multiplies, gets even worse. To the point where, you start thinking, oh my God, I think I'm dying. Boom. The only thing that shrinks it down is saying the positive things, bringing in light, bringing in light, bringing in light. And I literally could feel these things popping because they cannot be destroyed in the normal ways through the immune system. They have to be destroyed by light. The only thing that stops an ultra low frequency is an ultra high frequency. The exact opposite. That is breathing in light. Realizing that, oh no, you don't. This is my body. Get the hell out. You have no control over me. I breathe in light, release this density. Your intent, you're saying you're bringing in pure light source, will release this stuff, and actually it turns them off and they just come out of the body. They're being released through the regular elimination organs, through the bloodstream, and out they go. Like a lot of other particles. We can do the same thing to any of the toxins and the heavy metals that are accumulated in our body. I put in programs all the time into people's bodies by just telling the body, okay, what you're going to do is this. You're going to release the energetic makeup of that, and you're going to ground it out, rendering these particles inert. Then they're just going to get flushed out. That's what you're going to do. And the body goes, alrighty then, I can do that. Because I will it, and the body listens, and it happens. People start feeling immediately better. Clarity, because we store all the heavy metals up in our brain. We store it in the tissue up here. So it's quite literally, they're building an artificial antenna system, aren't they? Yeah, to interfere with our thoughts. To keep us from having happy thoughts. All you have to do is turn on a frequency that kind of permeates the higher atmosphere. Oh, like the 5 gig network and all of its radiation. But actually, they can even do it quite easily as a backup carrier wave through the radio and through television. They've been doing it all along, controlling our thoughts. Do you ever wonder why you're craving a hamburger, which you don't even like, after watching a commercial? Because it's called programming for a reason. That's really what they're doing. So the only way to stop that from happening is raise your vibration, so that low stuff can't get in. And that's the key to any of this. It's just get out of fear, raise your vibration. Realize everything that's happening to you is shifting you to becoming this wonderful being of light. And we're keeping our bodies this time, and we're taking them with us. So that means that our bodies have to shift also. They can't remain the same 3D bodies. They're going to become lighter, hold more frequency. You're going to have a lot more power. And you're going to find yourself becoming younger and younger and younger again. Because you can. Yes. I know. Oh, I'm going, oh yeah. No more putting your back out when you sneeze, right? I know. How awesome is that? I kept wondering, really? You brought me online at this age? Oh, come on. But it's for a reason. That means that we can reverse age. Okay, I'll give you that. All right, fine then. And I'm here to share that information. I do a lot of sessions on people. So work with you one-on-one. See where you're stuck, where you're not understanding a certain lesson that's keeping you circling around. Because the key is just surrender. We're so stubborn. Don't want to, can't make it. So we keep repeating the lesson. We don't see it, we don't want to see it. So we keep going around in circles. But sometimes it's just by realizing it, oh, you mean that was me? Yeah. Oh, you mean there's another way? Yes. Oh, okay. Would you like to take the other way? Yes, I would. Thank you. Okay, let's do that then. Let's release that old energy. It's that simple. Of just being made aware of a pattern is usually enough to break the pattern. So we don't have to do anything crazy. We just have to realize there's a pattern. Now become a detective. What is it trying to tell you? Where do you recognize it from? How many other times have you experienced the same pattern? Come on, you've been training for this your whole life. You've been experiencing energies your whole life. Where do you recognize this from? We don't realize we have control over it. So recognize the pattern. Why are you unhappy? And do you want to stay there? If you don't want to, just say so. Let it go. Lots of times now we're just continuing on old programming. We don't even have to have these lessons anymore. We've graduated a long time ago, but we keep going back in these old classrooms and we just sit in. And we keep learning lessons, but yeah, I already know all this, but I'm just hanging out here because I like it. We don't have to be there anymore. But we're afraid of the unknown. And this is one of the hardest things right now for a lot of people. There's no books for you. There's no instructions for you because everything comes through in real time. I live it with you in the moment. And you know what? It's okay. When you're connected to being in the moment, you have full control over everything. So when we start going into the past, well, that's already done, so we have no control over that. We go into the future, well, we're trying to there's too many variables, isn't there? So again, it becomes very cloudy. The only place that we have power is in the present moment. So if you're constantly saying, I'm going to do what makes me happy, then that's exactly what's going to happen in your life. You're going to be happy in your life every single day. because you choose that. You said the words, you've created the power. You said, this feels good. I'm going to take a step in that direction. I like this. I'm going to go over here. You don't have to know where you're going. You just take baby steps. You're going to realize that suddenly you're mapping as you're going along. This is what the early explorers did. When they went on these continents, that's what they did. Baby steps. They stopped every so often, do a picture. They didn't know where they were going. Most of the time they went around in circles. But that's okay. At least they mapped that area. We're going to be doing that too. We're going to go around in a few circles before we go, whoops, sorry, I think I've been here before. But the point is to set your intent. That's your compass. Set your intent. Do what makes you feel good. And the thing, if something keeps coming up that doesn't make you feel good, it's for a reason. That means it's kind of stuck to you, and you may have stepped in it, and you might have to let that go. That's okay. So let it go. Just say, okay, whatever you are, I release you with love. Out. Breathing in light. Yeah, just da, da. Yeah, keep that emotional energy. But when it comes up and out, it's clean, so not to worry. But this is what we need to do, to recognize when we're dragging stuff with us. So I'll leave it on that. I'll be more than welcome to, love to come back and talk to you some more about some of these things. Has anyone got any questions?
So a lot of this is using your intent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Your intent and your intuition that we're starting to connect to. And again, it's feeling. We're navigating from the heart. This is our new navigation system. It's not this anymore. It's the heart. Because our reality is shifting so quickly, our eyes only see frequency. None of this exists. Our program that our minds run, we've all agreed collectively that, okay, but their shirt is the color red, and that's peach. And so we see that. But as we go into a higher frequency, of course, color shifts are going to happen. Things are going to look different. And so at times our eyes are even going to be doing this, I can't focus today, what's going on? Well, it's because there's a frequency shift happening right now. We're shifting timelines. And as we get more knowledge, things are going to look different to us. They're going to look softer, brighter, happier. Why? Because we know that we're in a higher vibration. A higher vibration means better looking, a lot happier, brighter colors, sunny days. We like that. So this is what we create in our reality.
Can you raise your vibration and your vibration? Well, towards frequency.
Yep.
Just by your intention?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. It was nice to meet you. Take care, sweetie. Absolutely. It's part of, the two kind of go together. So your intent is the first thing, because you're recognizing that, okay, where I'm at right now is no likey, and I want to go over here. So that's the first thing, recognizing that you want to make a movement, and then setting that intent. Absolutely. Say, okay, I choose this. Because free will says we always have a choice. That's why we've been allowed to run amok, literally, and go in all these places, because we've had no guardians. We've literally just had nobody watching us. So now we realize, oh, okay, I think I better be careful where I'm stepping. So we raise our vibration. When somebody's in trouble, we don't go and jump in the hole with them. If they're stuck in a hole, we don't go jump in and boost them out and go, oh, shoot. Hey, has anybody got a ladder? Because we get stuck there too. This is why we have to cut off these cording that we have to these lower vibrations, to these old experiences, raise ourselves up so we can help all these different people. If they ask for it, that's the key. We tend to think once we've learned something, oh, I'm going to help the world. And I get that a lot with new light workers that are learning stuff. They're like, oh, so excited. And it's like, awesome. Stop that. Seriously. It is because when we take away somebody else's experience, we mean well, but we take it away. What happens is the experience comes back, because it's their experience, it's their lesson. So we mean well. We oh, here, let me help you. And they're like, okay, all right. We take it away. So then the universe goes, shoot, okay, we have to give them a new test. Okay, another test, here you go. It's going to keep happening for a reason. So we're going to ask right now, be mindful of that. Don't give assistance unless somebody asks. But wait, it doesn't stop us from sending love and light, because we can send that to each and every aura. It's called holding space. And how that looks is we send a frequency to their aura. And quite literally, when they need the help and they open up to it, when they say help, they're covered in it, because we've been sending love and light the whole time. That's where that comes from. A majority comes from the light workers that have been holding space. So when we see that there's a hurricane happening in a certain area and all these bad things are happening, we can't judge saying, oh my God, those poor people. Maybe some of them have signed up for this. They need to experience this because this is what they signed up for. But what we can do is send a lot of love and light there for whoever needs it. So when they go, oh my God, I've lost everything, help. I don't know how to handle this. They open up to that and they get showered in that love and light and they realize, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make it through this. It's going to be okay. That's how that works. We always tend to think that everybody's having the same experience that we are. That's not true. We don't understand each other's soul plans. We are all handed scripts before we incarnate. And we've designed those scripts. And we've interacted with our soul family. Oh, you get to be the mom this time. I'm going to be the daughter. You get to be the cousin. You get to be the bad guy. You get to be the good guy. You get to be, we assign these roles. And then, of course, we incarnate and we forget who we are. But the point is that we keep playing with the same players. And that's how we know each other when we meet. You just have that instant, it's like, oh, I know you from somewhere. We just have that connection. Soul family. Because we've been playing these roles.
Who are the beings of darkness, and how do they?
They come from a parallel universe, and a lot of them, see, light and dark have always existed. There's always been an equal balance until man meddles. And on this planet, what happened was CERN, and there was also before CERN, was the Philadelphia experiment in the 1950s, which opened up a rift in time and space. And then they did it again with the Montauk Project in the 1970s, and they made it even bigger. That allowed for certain energy and forces, fleets of ships to come through that were carrying a lot lower frequency. A lot of these draconians that you hear about, a lot of these alien beings that are been controlling us, they have come through those rifts because the planet was protected. There was literally a frequency fence around the planet, meaning no more interaction with people thinking that they're gods and pretending to be gods. And this kind of created a back door, allowed them in. So once they're in, it's like, again, the non-interference law was like, nuts. Okay, plug that up somehow. But they're already here. So that's what created the imbalance. So it was using this technology, which was not ours. That's why we went so quickly from these great big box televisions to flat screens. Same thing with the computers and phones, right? It's all reverse engineered. That's why it's so harmful to us. We didn't invent it. We reverse engineered it from a different race, of a different vibration. So all of our cell phones, all of our technology releases a type of radiation which is harmful to us. It accumulates, makes us sick. We're starting to realize that now because that was all suppressed. It was like, oh, shh, don't tell anybody. We'll just keep giving them more powerful phones to try out. And again, it affects the brainwaves. And so we're getting smart to that now. There is new technology. Everything is ready to be brought to the surface, but right now we're still going through the deconstruction phase. We're not alone here on the planet. There are other beings that are in the planet. The planet is got big pockets within it. That is hollow. There's other worlds, literally, beings that have been living down there for tens of thousands of years that have been observing us. You may have encountered some of them in your sleep time, during your travels, as you astral travel, going to these different realms, which you might even think are different worlds, but it's actually here. They connect to us in that way by assuring everything's going to be okay, we're right here, we're not far away, you won't be alone. But they also have to wait until we've passed our final test. We're all being herded up to the edge of the cliff. And this is the point where faith comes in. Because this is as far as you can be helped. And then we have to take that final step on our own. When you realize that you have wings. And you can fly. Some of you will realize it's not even a cliff. It's just an illusion. You just walk through that. And you realize there's the paradise you've been looking for. It's a different experience for every person. But you will be tested. And remember, fear is an illusion. Don't ever forget that. It's been used to control you. It's an illusion. It's not real. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If anybody needs a card, I've left some cards up here. Come and see the shop. You're going to love I have the largest crystal collection. I might as well put a plug in while I can. On the island, I supply to a lot of people. Shop's open every Saturday from 11 to 7. And from Tuesday to Fridays is after 5 o'clock by appointment. So you can do a little private shopping. Because I do the sessions throughout the day. So I'm a one-man, one-woman show. know.